Do I wish I could be that version of Julie, wanting to be vulnerable with many people? Yeah, like I want to, but I think I'm just realizing I don't know if I can ever be. It's salty and sweet.
Right? It's like a good mix of the two. Honestly, whenever I come home, it's bad because like I just snack a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like there are always so many snacks in the house.
Who else snacks? Like likes to snack?
In my family,
Mm-hmm.
my dad is like a disgusting snacker. Like 2-3 pints of Haagen-Dazs at a time.
A day?
Not a day. It'll happen like once every couple weeks. But like when he goes in, he goes in. And then my sister likes to have one cracker of 20 different crackers. You know what I mean? Like she likes to have one of like 20 different things.
That's literally my boyfriend.
Oh, really?
I have a photo.
Okay, we'll insert it here.
I literally have a photo. Awesome. I just feel like the weather has been so wonky. It's usually hot in here. Are you cold?
I'm a little cold.
I'm a little cold. And why is the mic stem so cold too?
It's really cold.
It's
yeah,
really cold.
Everything's really cold. I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, very exciting announcement. She's gonna chew. Chew.
But before the really exciting announcement, welcome everyone to another episode of
BULGOGIPod. And not just any episode, but our 69th episode.
Was that too high again? Here, let me lower it a bit. Let me lower it here.
Our 69th episode. Can we like,
I don't think
can
we're
we
on
like, can we like rotate it a little bit more?
Oh,
like, you know what I
that's
mean?
like so much more difficult for you. Just look at how is you were doing. Okay, let me just be the bottom. I'll be the bottom. Here.
She's the bottom.
Here.
Wow, I cannot believe we made it to 69 episodes.
Wow.
I think maybe should we
What
just
did
end it
talk
here?
about? Yeah. Leave everyone that TikTok sound. Everyone says we talk too much, so here's a, and it just like ends.
Yeah.
All right, great episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We were gonna talk about, and then I think we should insert the static sound.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah, I mean, it's our 69th episode, and it's our kickoff to AAPI.
HM,
What does that stand for, Hannah?
Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Yes, a PIM.
A PIM. And
Did
also,
people say that? I feel like we need a rebrand.
no, we really do.
Right?
Also, I feel like that may be last year's term, and like maybe we
Yes.
changed it for this year. I don't. Somebody
Who changes it?
I don't.
Just
Asian American.
hashtag and like you create like let's just send it forward.
Yeah. Because, right, we were talking about this with Tabby, and she was saying that, like, Pacific
Oh,
Islanders
yeah.
should get their own month.
Yes.
We shouldn't just all be lumped together.
Yeah.
But then I also don't want to, like, push them out. So I don't really know what the correct protocol is here.
Then usually like we give them like May, and then we push ourselves out.
Oh,
You know?
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But we'll leave it up to the
councils.
TikTok, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Instagram communities
Yeah.
to create the hashtags and rebrand the month for us.
Yeah. But as Asian Americans, you know, I'm very proud to be Korean American finally for once in my life. You know, it took me a while to get here, and I feel like it started, it kind of kicked off when I went to Korea back in 2017. And I was like, you know what? We're kind of cool. I don't think I hate my culture. Because prior to that, I would be like, oh yeah, I'm whitewashed. Like, oh yeah, I am a inside out Twinkie.
Yeah.
No Twinkie.
A banana?
Oh yeah, a
A banana.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I've ever expressed this on the podcast, but it truly is a parenting concern of mine. Just, you know, knowing like if I raise kids, or I hope to raise kids, but they're probably going to go through this phase.
I'm so sorry,
How
but
do
like
I-
it sounds like you're like raising cattle. If I raise kids, if I raise my cattle, like
Why you raise kids?
organic, non-GMO, pasture raised.
You raise kids. That's what you do.
Okay.
You raise them.
Okay, sorry.
You raise them.
So if you raise kids.
When I raise kid A, B, and C, I'm truly like, sometimes I like to like, what would I do? Like, how am I going to help them go through this process?
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Because it gets worse kind of as the generations go on. You lose more of the heritage. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, wouldn't you say being surrounded by our group of girls, or even having gone to a Korean American church, like that played a big role in you like wanting to learn a bit more about it? Like you were exposed to it a bit more?
I think it was the exposure,
Yeah.
because it was crazy, because when I went to church, there would be that one side of me, the Korean American side, that would come out, and I would be like, you know, eating Korean food and like being able to like get these like jokes that incorporate both English and Korean.
Oh yes, I'm like the queen of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what did the driver said to the egg? Say to the egg. What did the driver? I got too excited, you guys. What did the driver say to the egg? 3, 2, 1. Get on. Get on.
Or where does lettuce pray?
Yeah, I know, in the sanctuary.
In the sanctuary.
In the sanctuary. Because lettuce is hangchu, and for the egg, keran is egg, but it's like keran. Oh, where do Korean grandmothers meet, you know, their husbands? Or I think it's the other way around. Where do the Korean grandfathers meet their wives? On eHarmony.
I actually haven't heard that one.
eHarmony, but harmony is grandma. So
That's really funny.
eHarmony.
That's actually great.
eHarmony.
Yeah. And so when I would go to church, it would be that side. All of that would come out. But then when I went back to school, it was like, oh, I'm whitewashed, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that it like created a very like a dichotomy.
Yeah.
Within me.
Yeah. Two sides of Hana. Hana number 1, Hana number 2.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, switch.
Switch. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. In general, I think I learned to accept my full self, and there's no longer a dichotomy.
Yes.
You know?
And it's crazy because I also don't know if I've ever shared this. I think there was like a song that I liked, because I've listened to like 소녀시대, like SNSD, like since I was like when they came out with that song. It was called G. Right, with all the colorful jeans. I think that was when we were in 6th grade.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So I remember like I would mention it or talk about it to our group of friends, and nobody knew. And like all of you guys, I don't even remember. I mean, it was probably the same like stage as the Justin Bieber stage, right?
Yeah.
It was the Justin Bieber stage, but it was like I didn't really listen to Backstreet Boys. Did you listen to Backstreet Boys?
A little bit.
And
NSYNC.
Yeah, I didn't listen to NSYNC, but I remember I would talk about it, and none of you guys would even be interested in it.
Oh.
So I was like, oh my God, I cannot talk to them about it because they're gonna think I only listen to Korean music. And I remember when our group of friends, like truly nobody listened to anything Korean, or we never talked about Korean dramas, nothing like that. And yeah, it was comical. Don't think this is me judging you, but you were so bad at Korean. You and our friend Michelle, so bad at Korean. And then I think, I don't know what kicked in. It was like you were okay with, right? Like speaking Korean, wanting to learn how to speak Korean. And now like all our group of friends,
like, I mean,
we're the queens of Konglish.
Yeah. No, truly.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, I was like thinking about it, and I was like, you know who my mom sounds like? She sounds like that lady from Business Proposal going, oh my God, so sorry.
생각해보니 so big mistake.
I love that girl. I love that. Or like her character is really funny.
So effing funny.
Okay, wait, and I was also laughing because I say all this, but okay, so I think I'm like pretty good at Korean, but I think people who are extremely fluent in Korean will listen to me speak and think I have a southern accent, like a Korean southern accent.
Oh, she got that Jeollado accent?
Yeah, like that, or they could tell. In Korean, I think the term is 재미교포, right? It's like a Korean American.
Like a
they
fun
can
교포.
Like, a what?
재미?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's what it means, but maybe it's actually, I think I'm saying it right. 재미교포. Like 95% sure. So a coworker was like, oh, like what's been up with life, Julie? Right? So I was like, oh, like at work or like outside of work? And he was like, I mean both. So I'm like, oh, I have a podcast.
Oh.
And so I was like, he was like, oh, what's it called? Or what's it about? What's it called? And I was like, oh, it's called BULGOGI podcast. And he was like, a what? And I was like, you know, it's like marinated meat. Like, have you tried Korean food before? And he was like, yeah, I've tried bulgogi. And I was like, yeah. So it's the same.
Is that
thing.
not what I just said?
So then that was like a little like started off the conversation about how I love the Korean language so much. So we're in line for food, and I was like, oh yeah, like I feel like in Korea or in Korean, there's so many ways to describe things, and the language is so developed in how you can express everything.
Yeah.
And so he was like, oh, like for example, what? So I always think of the examples of like raindrops or even the way people walk. I know, I guess when you think about it in the English dictionary, like you can describe the walking styles differently too. But in Korean, it's like 쿵캉 쿵캉.
It's literally,
It's like thumping, right?
they're really good with their onomatopoeias.
Onomatopoeias, exactly. And then I was like, shiluk, right?
With shiluk.
So shiluk is more like your butt when you're moving, but shiluk is like when your butt is like, you're like walking, you're like this, kind of, right? Like shiluk, right? But there's another Korean employee at my work, and like I think she came from Korea a couple years ago. Like her husband works here, and she speaks English very well, but she's way better at Korean than me, right? So I teach this other coworker, shiluk, and so he goes to her and is like shiluk, and she has no idea what he's saying. She's like, oh, Julie told me that it was a blah blah. She's like, I have no idea what that word is. So then I was like, oh, like her name. I call her name, and I'm like, you know, shiluk. She's like, what? Like you know when you walk like this, and she was like, oh, shiluk. Like it says it like ever so slightly, like with the slightest
Slightly
difference.
different.
Shiluk. I was like, sorry, my accent. Sorry. So then I tell him the story about the ocean world, and sorry, I went on a tangent, but
No,
this
I
is all
love
to
it.
say I love Korea.
Yeah. So,
That's the conclusion. I love Korea.
Yeah.
Happy AAPIHM. I love Korea. But that was my week.
Was that your entire week?
Yeah.
Shiluk.
Yeah.
And king kung.
쿵캉. 쿵캉. There is 살금살금. 살금살금 is like tiptoeing-ish. Right? Like 살금살금. Yeah. There's what else is there?
I always think of like
깡충. Right? That's like hopping. That's 깡충. There's just truly so many ways to describe walking. 이렇게 실룩실룩 걸어. 이렇게 쿵쾅쿵쾅 거려. What else?
I don't know. Is it tia?
No, that's just run. Tia is just run.
Okay.
Go Tia. Go Tia.
Take a lap.
Yeah, take a lap.
Okay, well, my only update is I have gotten significantly more clumsy. Like, I don't know what's going on, but you know the bruise that I had?
I was gonna ask. Yes. Okay. Yes.
It's completely better, but
Yes.
I fell the other day.
yes.
And I scraped up my entire
on
knee.
concrete?
Well, I was wearing pants, and then a hole didn't like break through the pants.
That's what I was.
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about.
No, and
Your white pants.
no. It was like pants I didn't care about, so it was fine. But like, it hurts. My
That
entire
looks
knee
really
hurts.
painful.
Also,
Can I touch it?
No.
What
That's
about like
gross.
knuckle it? Like knuckle
No,
it.
that's gross. I didn't even like wipe alcohol on
Wrist
it. Julie,
Elbow it?
What if it gets infected?
I feel like it's not
Don't
open enough.
Please don't touch
It's
it.
not open enough
I don't
for it to
really
get
care.
infected.
I don't really care if it's not open enough for it to be infected. So that was my week.
Looks rough.
Don't touch me.
Okay.
I'm actually so serious. Don't.
No, you're okay. If you're infected, you're already infected. You guys, yesterday, Hannah was making fun of me for coughing like this.
Into
but
her
I feel like
hand.
if I was really, really sick, like I would do this. But it's more like just like a phlegm, like my throat is clogged. Let me just clear it out.
Yeah, you need to go phlegm in the sink. You know.
do. Maybe the next time I need to cough, we'll take a mini break and I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you remember when? I don't think I shared this with you.
What?
A couple of weeks ago when I was sick,
Uh huh.
I was drinking so much liquid. I started taking videos of every time I went to the restroom because I wanted to take a count of how many times I'd use the restroom. I think I went 10 times at my mom's work. Yeah.
In the
10
span of
times.
how many hours was that?
Maybe like 4 hours.
Oh
10 times.
That's kind of
Yeah.
that's more
Oh,
than twice an hour. That's
10
bad.
times. 10 times. But I started recording on my 3rd time.
So
And I pooped too. So it was like, I just felt bad for my hands.
because they're so dry because you keep
Yeah.
washing your
Mhm.
hands. Thank you for clarifying that you washed your hands every single
Yes,
time.
I felt bad for that. I just felt like I was wasting paper towel. I felt bad for the toilet paper.
The toilet, the plumbing,
Honestly,
the plumbers.
by the like 8th or 9th pee, it was probably really sterile, you know?
Was your
Like,
pee
really,
clear?
Almost.
How was it not clear at that point?
I mean, it was like the limest, the brightest limest green. Truly clear with the Like,
It's like the titration amount, right?
I don't think I have the screenshot anymore on my phone, but when your mom sent that diagram of what your pee color should be, do you remember that? I remember where I was when I received that. This must have been 3 years ago, 2019. I think I was at work and I don't know why we were talking about it, but your mom sent it to you and you sent it to me, and it was like the color scale of what your pee.
Yeah.
The pH scale of your pee or something like that.
Yeah, because she said it's not supposed to be clear. It's supposed to be post-it color.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's really yummy.
So an FYI to all of y'all.
Yeah. What a check-in.
Yeah.
Yes, what a check-in.
I love that.
But a bit different from our check-in. Okay, I don't think this episode's sad.
I think it could be kind of sad.
It's just the truth, you know?
Oh.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
We want to talk about close circles, close friends, and the fact that they might be shrinking. That the circle might be going from the outer ring to the smaller ring. We haven't made a science reference in a while.
You're right.
What do you even call those rings? I can't remember.
Concentric circles?
Let's just go with the earth layers. I think I remember those better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
remember
going
all the
from
layers?
Mantle? Is that not a layer? The mantle?
That is
right?
that is a layer.
The outer mantle to the core. So why have I been thinking about this? It kickstarted just with, I think, maybe our age. Remember a year ago, maybe, when just second degree separation, third degree separation, we would find out that all these people were getting engaged.
Yeah.
Right? Or like married, proposed to. I think that's what kicked it off. Who would I want at my wedding?
Oh.
Like, truth be told, I think that's how I started to think about it.
Yeah.
And then it was going deeper into, I would invite this person for the sake of the longevity of our friendship. But have I spoken to them recently? Oh, guess what? It's already been a year since we've had a meal together. Or when is the last time I saw them? And so I think that's what got me thinking about who's in my close friends. Why aren't we close? And when I thought about the why aren't we close also, just like, even if you've been friends for a while, don't stay like complacent, right? And don't assume that they're like this, because people change. And I've seen you in your lows, you've seen me in my lows. And so I was also thinking about this because some friends, I've never experienced them in certain stages. In certain, how would you phrase it? Like, I've never experienced them when they were dating. I've never experienced them when they were going through heartbreak. Or so, like, even though we've been friends for such a long time, I'm still experiencing a new side of them.
Yes.
Even now. But this got me thinking, when I was younger, I feel like when you're younger, you go to school, depending on your zip code, you're like assigned the school.
Right.
So you end up going to school for what, like 5, 8, 12, like 12. Yeah. 12. Why did I just add all of that? Potentially 13, 14, depending on preschool and kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
14 years with the same group of people.
Right.
And so even if you don't have like a deep relationship, like you might have classes together, so you do projects together, you like walk past each other down the hallway and you say hi and whatnot.
You may even know their birthday. Because in elementary school, it's like, cupcakes for the class.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And so just whether it be out of convenience, you make friends. I feel like you make friends like that when you're younger, but also you just want friends, right? You just want to make as many friends. And it could be for like superficial reasons. I feel like when you're younger, like, I don't even know how from kindergarten it can be established, or not kindergarten, but in elementary school, there was definitely a cool crowd.
Yeah.
I remember, our friend Lauren was on the podcast. I feel like her teacher, her 5th grade teacher, it was like 4th or 5th grade, I don't remember. But her 4th or 5th grade teacher was like the youngest, like 4th, 5th grade teacher. And for some reason, I always viewed her class to be like the cool class. But so then you're like, I want to be friends with the cool people. Yeah. And I think it's probably a thought all of us have at one point in middle school, elementary school, potentially even high school.
You know, one of the dumbest reasons that I became friends with somebody in elementary school was because she had those new flip top water bottles. Do you remember when Arrowhead released those water bottles?
Arrowhead?
I think it was Arrowhead.
Or just like plastic ones?
No, the flip top where you like can squeeze it into your mouth. These ones.
Yeah, I know, that's plastic. I was like, plastic?
Yeah.
Of course I know those. Yeah, dude, I would
those
reduce, recycle. I would refill water in the same plastic water bottle over and over again because I love that water bottle so much.
No, exactly. And actually,
Yeah.
I got in trouble by my 4th grade teacher because I was like talking to my friend. I was like, "Can you please bring me a water bottle?" Like, da 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 da. And but then my teacher heard it as a threat. She heard it as me going, "You better bring me this water bottle, or else I'm not gonna be friends with you." And I was literally like, "What the fuck? That's
Wow.
not what I said."
You're a troublemaker.
Dude, I was a mean girl. I was
Yeah.
a mean girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admit it.
See,
And
that's what you got to tell the entire narrative, not just me bullying you, but you got to tell the entire narrative. You know what I mean?
I was a mean girl up until 5th grade, and then we met at the end after I got in trouble by
no.
the principal, and so that's when I became a nice girl.
Oh, so I was mean to you and you're a nice girl.
Yeah.
So you probably thought, oh, God is testing me because now I'm a nice girl, but there's mean girls in my life. What do we do?
No, it was like, wow, I really like grew past that stage, and she's just sucking me back in.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, at least we made progress since
Yeah.
the 5th grade.
You're right.
But yeah, it was, I guess, I don't even know where to circle this back to, but I just realized, when you're younger, you're not like basing your friendships off of these deep conversations. They're just based off of superficial things like,
Right.
oh, that girl has what I want. I'm gonna be friends with her.
Yeah.
Oh, like her outfit like has a lot of pink in it. Like I could totally imagine myself like, she looks really cute. Like, where did she get her tutu from? Like, or her bows in her hair. Like, I want that. Like, I
Yeah.
want to be friends with her.
Yeah.
I want to go like color with her. So they can be for very superficial reasons.
Yeah. And also, like, within that, I would say proximity, because like even as you get a little bit older into like middle school or high school, like a big reason why we have our group of 9 girls, and then also we don't really talk about the 8 other guys that are in that group as well, is because we hung out every single Friday, every single Sunday,
Yep.
like after church. Like, it was literally an all-day occasion. I had to make sure to finish my homework on Saturday or whatever for the following Monday so that I could hang out all Friday night, all Sunday, and literally get back at like 9-10 p.m.
Yep.
And I don't know if Julie can relate to that, because I feel like you had a little bit more of a curfew. But I do think, like, because it was just like, I'm seeing you twice a week, how could we not be close?
Yeah.
Like, we just inevitably became close and like somehow have sustained that relationship up until now.
Well, I think for the most part too, though, we are still kind of in a drivable proximity
Yeah.
or close proximity where we can hang out.
Yeah.
Right? It's, I mean, other than our one friend who moved to Hawaii, imagine if we were all across the country. Like if I was in, okay, let's say, okay, maybe I'll be in Philly. You could be in New York.
Okay.
Maybe Julia wants to be in Texas.
Uh-huh.
Right? Imagine if it was like that. That's like half the group.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a miracle that we're all
Still here.
in Southern California.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think as we get older, it kind of changes into what you said. Like, you start thinking about the values.
Beliefs, preferences.
Does this person align with like maybe who I even want to become?
Yes.
Because I think like even when you listen to all the motivational like podcasts and stuff, it's like
Yeah.
be in the same room as the people that you admire,
Oh.
because you'll eventually become like them. But then when I
Yeah.
think about like outgrowing friends and all of that, like it all starts to come into play. It's like, oh, does this person possess the qualities that I want
Yeah.
to have?
Yeah. And like I said, I've never met a kid in elementary school talking about my priorities are, right?
Yeah.
And so I mentioned this, and I think this could be a big reason as to why, your friendship distances over time. Because, for example, like quality time within friendship. Maybe you value that a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's
when
just
it's
like
very one-sided.
it's such a minor example. But also, like I said, taste and preferences. I think sometimes I feel bad because I think you love going out. But like the art exhibits and the music exhibits. And I mean, you had that noodles event that I brought my sister to, and it was really, really fun. But imagine you inviting us to so many things all the time and none of us ever went.
I don't really have to imagine it, because I think like partially that's my reality. I think like that's a 95% accurate.
But you know what I also just thought though? I almost feel like, and I'm sure like you have friends that have more or have tastes that align with your preferences.
Right.
And I feel like that's allowed you to like flourish in that area.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like all our opinions and all our tastes were holding you back from exploring that realm more.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, because
You know?
it's like a lack of a community. in
Yeah,
that
because
aspect.
now you will send like, oh, like after like one of our friends' birthday, you went out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But all the artists that were on that poster, I had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you would have used to only like send it if you thought we might have had some interest or like would know a couple names on there.
Right,
I don't know. That's the impression I get. But now it's like you'll just send it.
Yeah.
Because you're going anyways.
Exactly.
And if you want to come. But like I noticed, I read through the post and I was like, I have absolutely no idea who any of these people are.
Yeah, I do think that's the difference now is I'm going to go anyways.
Yeah.
You can come. You can join me. I would like you guys to join me if you're free. But at the same time, like I'm not going to not go if you guys cannot go.
Yeah. Because you have a group of friends
That are interested. That do know the artist potentially.
So that's also just kind of such a small, that's like just a small example.
Yeah.
But right, like now we will choose our social lifestyle and the things that we attend or interact with based on our tastes, preferences, beliefs, values, and priorities.
Yep, absolutely.
Is what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And then also I do want to go back to what you were saying about like how, you know, maybe you haven't seen some friends like as they're getting into relationships and stuff, because I think that's one thing that I have been experiencing my entire fucking life. Because, right, I've been single for a majority of the 25 years that I've been on this earth.
Yes.
And I tend to be the solid one, and then everyone rotates out of the other spot. And so I think I'm very used to seeing people leave me. Oh my God. And go hang out with their significant others.
I will say
more.
when I was in that spot though, it was a great time.
Dude, we got so close.
It was a great time.
It was very fun. But I was laughing because, okay, so one of our friends, you know, she was like, you know, she was opening up. She was being real vulnerable and all of that. She was like, you know, Hannah, it makes me kind of like sad because I feel like we're not as close as like I would like to be. Like I feel like everyone else is so much closer to you than I am. And, you know, it's a very like serious, deep, heartfelt, vulnerable conversation. And she's opening up and I'm like, you know, I know how to get closer. You need to break up with your boyfriend.
Oh my God.
You just need to be single, because I don't know what it is, but like I almost feel like when someone becomes single, I'm there for them in the breakup process and in the
dating phase.
Go out.
Yeah.
And so it just like kind of like happens inevitably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you been experiencing the being left part?
I don't want to complain. And I think this is just an observation I've been making just recently. But I know this isn't even the crux of changes that we're all about to experience, right? Because to my point of thankfully how we all live in this area, just imagine how much more harder it is going to be when we want to have friend gatherings when somebody is living 3,000 miles away from our hometown, right? And another reason I thought about, close circle. I thought I was close to this person. Maybe I'm not. Was when I realized that one of my friends is dating, and I realized I have never really interacted, or how to word this, like I've never been his friend while he was dating before. So I'm getting a taste of, oh, this is what my friend is like when he's dating. But because it's such a foreign feeling and I've never experienced it before, I almost felt a bit salty. Or in the beginning, I was very salty. I was like, okay, like we haven't spoken in a while. Let me send him a text.
Yeah.
We'll send him a text. Won't get a response for an entire day. And when I do get the response, it's like 5 words. So it's like, okay.
Right. Like they're not wanting to like continue the conversation or like ask about how you're doing or anything like that.
And so it's weird because I'm absolutely not upset that he's dating. Right. And it's funny because as I was thinking about how I wanted to say this, I thought of our own episode of remember like, oh, when you're the female best friend, and like I was thinking about them, like I am absolutely not upset. It's more like, whoa, like I feel this way. I am validating my own feelings because it's something I've never experienced because this friend has never dated within our friendship.
Right.
So I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because on the other hand, we do know a friend where he wasn't dating and we spent so much time together. And the moment he was dating, it was like MIA.
Yeah.
But we fully accept that because well, I've experienced that before, so I kind of knew, right? It was almost like when he wasn't dating, I was like, okay, can you go bother somebody else now? Okay, like one call a day is enough. And so I think it's just interesting because if this is how it continues, like who knows if we'll be close. But that's also just, I hate to sound so cold, but maybe then at that point, like the friendship has died. Because okay, maybe because he hasn't dated in a long time, he will learn how to juggle. Or you know what? Maybe I'm just in my head. Maybe I just thought we were closer than we actually were. Because I'm pretty sure he's hanging out with other friends, right?
I don't think so. From what I know, I don't think so.
Whatever. But I mean, I don't know, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Because again, we're all working, right? We're all working. Like his priorities are a bit different.
Yeah.
And so that's just like what I was thinking too. Like it's so difficult to maintain close friendships because also, when you're younger, your priorities are pretty similar. We all have the same schedule. We're all going to school. All our priorities to either go to Hagwon or get the private tutoring and study, go to the good college.
Right.
Well, now some of us might be more worried about getting the promotion. Some of us might be worried more about like a career change.
Yeah.
Some of us might be stressed because our commute to work is an hour. Right. It's just like so many different things that stress us out.
Right.
Like in that sense, I think it could be really hard because our priorities are misaligned.
Yeah. I mean, I think a good analogy here is that when you are younger and in the school system, basically you're playing with the bumpers on, right? Like it's very hard for you to go off the rails. But then as soon as you enter like post high school, college, and then into adulthood, it's like you're a bowling ball in a field. Just there are no lanes, no lines, no bumpers. And so it's just a free for all. And so I do think like you're right.
Yeah.
There are just so many like different possibilities of priorities.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. But also like, I think like you should feel validated and feeling salty, especially when, right, you said that you see this friend hanging out with other friends, like there's the potential of that, or like maybe he's responding to other people and not you, or at least being more engaged in the conversation. I think you should feel like justified in that, like even though maybe this is like his first relationship in a while, there's still like balance to be had.
But see, so this is all my thought, right? This is our opinion,
right?
But is it the right opinion? I don't know, right? Like I don't know, because like I just said, like maybe I put more value into our friendship than he did. Like I don't want to put words in this person's mouth,
right?
But hopefully, I hope they valued our friendship,
right?
But like that's what I'm saying, right? Like I don't know how else to say other than the misalignment of what we're looking for from the people, that we want it from, right? Like nobody like searches for friends who bring them sadness or stress, right? And so that's that.
And I will say, like, literally currently in my life, I've been thinking more about who I'm opening up to, who I'm spending time with. And, you know, I think I've mentioned it on a couple of podcasts how, like, I've been feeling bad about, like, dodging people and, like, not wanting to spend time with them. But I think as I talk to more and more, like, unnies and oppas and, like, people that I look up to, I really don't think I should be feeling bad. And one thing for me that I've realized is it's not like I haven't given them a second, third chance. Like oftentimes, right, with dating, I've gotten the advice like, oh, you should go on at least 2, maybe 3 dates because the person could have been nervous the first date. They could have had an off day. I could have had an off day. Like it could just like not be the vibe that first date. And so even with friends, actually like people I'm meeting for the first time, I usually don't hang out with them just once and then like rule them out. It's usually a second, third friend date. And then if all 2, 3 of those go badly, like I'm not having a good time, then is when I like am like, okay, maybe I need to dedicate my time to other friendships, maybe forming stronger friendships with the people I'm already friends with rather than trying to like expand the circle. So I think in that way, like I am trying to like build deeper rather than out. If that makes sense.
I feel like I've been trying to do that for a couple of years.
How has it been going?
How has it been going? Let me give myself a mid-year, mid-process review here. I don't think too well because I don't think I have actively reached out to like my friends. In the aspect of not making new friends, I think I've been doing a great job. Actually, I give myself a plus for that. But I don't know when I said in the podcast, must have been a year or like a year ago, but I think I was so intentionally trying to form like deeper relationship as opposed to new friendships that it went nowhere.
Oh.
Like maybe the timing wasn't right.
Uh-huh.
I think I've ended up focusing more on myself than like other relationships.
Oh.
Like maybe relationship with myself.
Yeah.
Because within the past year, I mean, I graduated and I switched jobs.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes I'll look at my face and I'm just like, wow, I'm so happy I switched jobs. Because, I mean, you guys all know, if you guys had followed us during this journey, do you remember when I was freaking out, I had this stress line under my eye?
Oh, yeah, I do.
I was just like, oh my God, like
there was actually
my under eye is like great. I don't have this line anymore.
now it's just like the cute little pillow
Like,
that
yeah, the
everyone wants.
marshmallow.
Yeah.
I was so stressed from that. And it was a very recent thought, but I always preach your cup needs to be full before you start giving to others. And I just feel like my cup wasn't necessarily full for me to give to others.
Oh.
I digress. Going back to the point, I don't think I've been doing too great, but I think nowadays I'm kind of realizing, maybe I should hit up some friends just to see how they're doing. Not like new friends or anything like that.
Right.
The true core group of friends.
Not mantle.
Yeah. Not the mantle, not the outer mantle.
Is it crust?
Oh yeah, the crust. The crust is the most outside. It's the crust, outer mantle, inner mantle.
Uh-huh.
Is there a mid mantle?
I don't think there would be a mid mantle, and then I think there's another layer, and then it's core. Is that wrong?
Crust, mantle. I feel like it also started with an M.
I thought it started with an I.
Inner mantle. Should we bet?
No, Julie, I'm not doing any more bets with you. That's crazy.
My parents truly enjoyed your snacks.
Good.
Yep, they. I came back home and they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we had the dog." I was like, "Okay." Oh, did you eat the wasabi almonds? Uh-huh. Oh, did you also take? I was like, "Did you take another cracker? Did you take another chip?" Oh yeah, we just had a couple of sun chips. I go into my parents' room and the entire bag is just there. It's empty. It's just on the bedside. But anyways, so conclusion, I've realized I wanted to reach out. I don't think I was necessarily in a place where I could have been of any type of help. But maybe that's also a me issue. Feeling like I needed to be happy or have it be a positive experience.
Oh.
And maybe this is a deeper issue. Maybe it's like my inability to be vulnerable. And I will say I realized a lot of this the past year, just being in a relationship, really. I mean, I always thought I had a high EQ.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know if I do. Don't really know if I do. I don't know what it is. I think it truly roots from the upbringing, the need. Never thought myself to be a perfectionist, but why am I not vulnerable? Maybe because of my desire to want to be viewed as like above average. And maybe I do almost view it as a burden if I'm like complaining, or if we were meeting up just for me to be like, this happened and that happened, and
right,
like being all sad, I would feel bad that was I would view it as a negative.
Yeah.
But not that I think like if you ever came crying to me that I would view it as like, oh my God, I feel so drained because Hannah was crying. Like I wouldn't view that as a negative.
Right.
I think it's just like when I do it to others.
Right.
But I don't know why.
Well, I think firstly it's uncomfortable to be vulnerable, and then also like I think that is maybe a big reason why I was never that close to our friends growing up, like in middle school and high school. It took me like a good solid 8 years to finally get vulnerable, because I always thought that people had this like expectation of me that I had to live up to, like this reputation of like, oh, she has her shit together, her life is perfect, her family's perfect, and she like doesn't necessarily deserve to have problems. And so I think that was a part of the reason. And then also in terms of feeling like a burden, I think one of the greatest pieces of advice that my therapist gave me was like, you should ask people if they have the capacity to like hear you.
I remember you shared that in our group of friends, and remember when all of a sudden we were like, do you want advice or do you want me to just listen? Or all of us in the group chat, you guys, all of us would be like, oh, like sometimes like what would you
what are your
all
needs?
those were being
Like all of a sudden so gentle. Yeah, the tone of it. But
Yeah.
I mean, but also I think that people kind of like push vulnerability.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have to be vulnerable. That's the only way to like form deep connections,
Yeah.
and like it'll make you feel better in the long run. But at the same time, I think that you have to go about it like the way that you want to and you feel most comfortable with.
And I'm just realizing that, do I wish I could be that version of Julie, wanting to be vulnerable with many people? Yeah, like I want to, but I think I'm just realizing I don't know if I can ever be. By that, maybe it's more like now we're, 24 and 25. Is it bad that I trust those who have been a part of my life a little longer? And obviously going forward, these new friendships I formed, they didn't know me when I was in high school. They didn't know me and the pain that I went through, or not like that. I mean, the pain and the happiness, but everything. They don't know what I went through just life-wise in college. So in that sense, I also feel like that circle is also getting smaller.
Oh, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. I think it's just like I don't know, that's just my thought. I'm not saying like going forward, these new friends I would never want to share, because I think about it like my significant other.
He's a new friend.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a new friend. Yeah. But we definitely spend a lot of time together. So like if, a new friend rolled around and we either worked together or saw each other every single day, I'm sure we could build up that relationship.
Right.
But realistically, like a friend that I don't work with, how often would I see them?
Right.
Unless they came to box union with me.
No, actually, I think that's a fair point. I think when you work out together,
For sure.
it just add 2 times on to me seeing you during the week. That's
Exactly.
crazy. That's a crazy amount.
Exactly. Well, that kind of went on a tangent, but I think that might be like a small reason as to why I'm okay with the circle getting smaller, because it's not so much like I don't have those people to want to share,
Right.
but I'm actively choosing to only wanting to share with that small group.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, I think I've been going through something like vaguely similar in that, like, okay, to be honest, like I have a good amount of friends. I include my sister in that. And so
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I include my sister
yes,
in that.
Yes.
In that.
In that. In that.
I include. It's like but.
Yeah.
Or like but.
Or do you sometimes write sentences and it's like that?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
comma that. Yeah. That.
Uh-huh.
But I include my sister in my friend group, and when I counted it up, I would probably be sharing literally every single detail about my life to 12 people, which is, I think, a ridiculous amount of people to be sharing every single thought, every single funny thing, like literally every story to. I think that is
Kudos to you.
I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I've actually been cutting it down. And if I had to count, I think I maybe share everything to like 3-4 people. My sister is not included in that because she doesn't fucking respond to me. But I think for that reason, I have been feeling a bit distant from my friends, because when I think about like myself, I like to be vulnerable because I think
Yeah, you do.
it like
Maybe this Christmas we could do a how-to.
how to be vulnerable.
Or just like yours
like
can be
everyone.
vulnerable and mine could be a how-to something else.
Oh, how to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do that one. But yeah.
And so I think I've been feeling distant from them. Like seriously, I used to use vulnerability as like almost like a mechanism to be close to people. And I've started to realize that like maybe that's a little bit toxic. Like I think I used to use it to an extreme where like let's say on dates, for example, like we're like 5 dates in, I would like be like, okay, like I would open up about all my fucking vulnerabilities and insecurities. And so they would feel comfortable opening up to me, and so that they feel close to me. So I think I was weaponizing intimacy and vulnerability. And
You'd be a great recruiter.
oh yeah, find out their deepest, darkest secret.
Yeah.
And then just like have
We can
that.
provide that for you.
Yeah. We can.
I'll be
we
your
can be your daddy. And so I think after realizing that, I was like, you know what? I think I need to like close the circle a bit. be a little bit more careful with like who I'm sharing with. And then also
you actively went from like 12 to like 3 to 4 because you just kind of reflected and were like maybe the intentionality behind being vulnerable was not the right reason.
I think with my friends it was like the right reason, like it's because like I want to be close to them, and so I just think it got too big. Like I was like, I don't know why 12 people need to be knowing this information.
I think you have a lot of patience I feel like I couldn't, because I could not retell a story 12 times. You know?
Okay, well like
that's actually why I started journaling, so that if a friend asked about it,
you just send them a photo.
Do you remember that one time it was like you and Gloria were in the front and I like could not like pull it out of my head to like say everything I wanted to, so I brought the diary out. And I think we were going out.
No, we were literally
and I was in the back seat.
We were at a Surf Jeep.
Yeah, and I was reading from my diary.
And then you brought it inside the Surf Jeep.
Yes, and I continued to read it. Yeah.
Oh, is that why?
Maybe that's why I started to journal.
Oh, you see, I love telling the same story so many times. But then I add little details that I like forgot the last time, and then I it's almost like a workshop. Like, you know how comedians like they workshop their work?
Ooh.
I kind of do that. Like I'm like, oh, is this a good way to tell the story? And so it's weird.
You should really consider, comedian and recruiter.
Okay.
You should consider. You should really. I mean, recruiter, you're pitching the same like about the about the company. And
I want to be your daddy.
Yeah, exactly. We can be your daddy. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I like kind of consciously closed the circle, and then now I'm realizing that like maybe I don't like what I did. Like I feel like even though it was a conscious effort and action, I think it made me more distant with a lot of my friends. Yeah. And so I guess this episode is making me realize like maybe I need to open the circle back up.
I guess
maybe I need to go back into the inner mantle.
Yeah.
You know, not just
you're at the core. Yeah.
Because the core is making me feel like, I don't know,
restricted.
Yeah. Like I feel
too
like
small.
I feel
the
like
circumference.
Yeah. I literally feel restricted. Yeah. Yeah. It's like this.
Like the peanut in the peanut M&M. Did you guys use that? We use that for our science. Earth mantle crust.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
Oh, I see it.
Our teacher would have all of us bite half of the peanut M&M,
and then all the kids with the allergies.
Oh,
EpiPen. Ready?
Didn't really think about that.
Stab yourself.
Didn't really think about that. Maybe that's where my love for peanut M&M started. But yeah, it's a great analogy. But
yeah, that's kind of where I've been at in terms of like close friends. I do think I want to open it up. Yeah.
I do too. And I think we talked a little bit about it, maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it's more so, I think this is more of a me issue in that I restrict myself from sharing things because I wouldn't want, I don't want it to be bragging. Didn't we talk about this?
Yeah, we did. We did.
I don't want it to be a humble brag. I don't want it to be a brag. I don't want it to be. And then, there was a TikTok I saw just like, if a friend can't be happy for you, that's not a real friend. I think that's very incorrect. Like, for example, I mean, this situation too of me being salty at my friend because...
Oh, they're in a relationship. Yeah.
That's not... I don't think that's me being an ingenuine friend. Like, if your feelings are hurt, you have the right to be upset and at your friend. Yeah. And so I think that statement is a little false. So with that... I think like that is stopping me from wanting to be more vulnerable. Yeah. So conclusion is I think it's a me issue.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I think we like vaguely know what's going on in other people's lives, and like something about the air right now. Like I feel like there's just like a lot happening in other people's lives, maybe not necessarily ours. And so I can understand what you mean, because it's not like they're like light issues that like it's like, oh, I had a shitty day at work. It's not that. It's like bigger than that. And so I can understand why you would feel hesitant.
Yeah. And I am such a one-on-one type of person. Did I know that about myself? I think I did. Actually, but if it's with the wrong one-on-one, if it's with the wrong one, I feel like I'm even more quiet. I think I've really mastered just like sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's crazy because like even people I know, like when they see you in different settings, they're like kind of shocked. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Is everything okay with Julie?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, she's fine.
And that's, I don't want to be like, oh, introvert, extrovert, but it's weird. I don't know. I think it has to do with the whole like core, like your close core circle. And me, it truly determines, like, I don't think it's like it's not like a 180 type of thing.
Right.
But no, I will say, and I told you this so many times, like I find communicating with new people so easy because it's so shallow.
Right.
It's so just like, hi, like nice to meet you.
What do you do?
Yeah,
How's
like,
your day going?
Have a great day.
Where are you
Okay.
from? Yeah, exactly.
But then I think like with our group of friends, there's so many of us. I almost think it's like I've unlearned it too much. Where I think I used to talk so much, and then I got a little insecure about talking too much. So I was like, oh, I want to give other people the chance to talk, and I want to listen. So then I end up not knowing what to share.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of all of us, because I mean, all of us, if we wanted to, could talk about ourselves for a long time,
For the hour.
for a long time.
But then like that would require a 9-hour hangout.
Yeah. Because we've mentioned it. You guys, I don't know if you guys remember, one Thanksgiving, we were going in a circle talking about like what we've been up to, and each person was dead ass like 30 to 40 minute like check-ins.
It was crazy.
And then you were the latter half.
I think that experience for our group was traumatizing, because after that we don't talk anymore.
Yeah, no, truly. You guys, it went from that to then, okay, you guys, boy, work, personal. All right, provide the check-ins. And it was just, oh, like, boyfriend's great. Oh, yeah, work is great. I blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's been 1 to 2 sentences per category. Yeah. And then it just became like yeah, everything's going great.
Yeah, which is very sad. And so oftentimes, even in group hangouts, right? Like I kind of know what's going on in your life. Yeah. And so I will prompt you. I'm like,
yeah, you do.
I'm like, oh, Julie, I know that this is happening right now. Can you tell us more about it?
You guys, she really did. She really did. Oh, I was like, oh, I guess I'm talking about this today. Because I'll actually think about it. It makes me think about it. When I'm on our way to our hangouts, I'm like,
what is Hannah gonna prompt?
No, it's more like what do I want to talk about? What do I want to not talk about? What should I talk about? So
okay, wait. So firstly, I didn't know that you were giving this much thought into like what you were going to be sharing at our hangouts. And then secondly, do you not want me to like prompt these certain things that are going on in your life?
No, going back, I just think it's like a me thing. I don't know what about it is like I don't know yet. Do I want to share? Of course. But the thing is, I feel like it would be delivered and received and conversed about much better if it was a smaller circle. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I would want to hear what everyone had to say.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there was something on my mind about my relationship, I think it would be much easier to talk about it if it was like a one-on-one dinner as opposed to 9 girls where this happened and all these reactions.
That's true.
Would make me feel a bit bad.
Yeah, the reactions are a bit especially when you get 8 different ones.
Yeah, but it's like not it's like not our friends, like it's not the reaction. Like I think that's completely like
it's fine.
Yeah, like I can expect that. But am I ready to receive the reaction is really the question. So I think it's me being dismissive, avoidant. Like I don't want to experience the type of reaction.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. What is this?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Everyone's probably like, what is going on? What are they talking about?
No, but I think this is a real thing.
Yeah, I think it's a real thing too. Because I've noticed my energy tends to fluctuate, like depending on the levels of how close I am with the people that are present in that setting. Kind of a little, like you said, like noticeably. I don't want to say like drastically, but it's noticeable. Because people who know me, like they know. And I think it has to do with FOMO still. Like even when you're in a larger setting of like getting upset if somebody didn't approach you first, of saying hi, or when you're there and you're talking about, when those people might be talking about something that you have no idea like what they're talking about, or something you weren't invited to, stuff like that.
I see.
I don't know, I kind of pulled that out of my ass. I think that might have like probably a little bit, right? A little bit.
Well, it makes sense because we have a group of so many people. So
Yeah.
there are going to be events that you're not invited to. And I will say, like, I'm like, oh, I wasn't invited to that. Oh, I can't really participate. Oh, you guys are talking about inside jokes that I'm like not a part of. Okay.
Yeah. And not even just like our group, like not just girls, but like in any setting that I'm in.
Right.
Like even at work, like a couple people at work, somehow I found out just like through the grapevine that a group of people were going on a weekend vacation, like a getaway nearby. And I was kind of sad I wasn't invited. Like really, really sad because it seemed like it was supposed to be an inclusive, like let's get closer, kind of the newer people. But then I waited a couple of days and then I got an invite, but then I couldn't even. So the thing was when I told my boyfriend about how I was so sad, I was like, I'm so sad. I can't even go, but I'm so sad I didn't get the invite. Because I was going to be out of town anyways.
Yeah.
But then I ended up getting the invite and then I felt so sad saying, oh, I cannot go because I'm going to be out of town. But I mean, it did feel nice to get the invite.
Yeah.
So like that, or even other settings, like where we were usually at church on Sundays, or even, I don't know, like the friends we do converse with a lot and like their social activities.
I think it's normal.
Yeah. So what is my advice?
Honestly, I don't even know if I have advice. I feel like I just needed this maybe
like a little
like a rant sesh.
Yeah, heart to heart. Let's dig up some layers of hardened emotions.
I totally thought you were gonna make another science reference.
Oh,
but
of hardened
sediment.
Yes, sedimentary rocks that have eroded. Okay, yeah. Anyways, this is a piece of advice I was given.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna end with it, and if you agree, I mean, you might agree, you might not agree. I feel like you have to either hear me say it, and then repeat it to yourself a couple times because it's interesting. Changing for relationships can be a good thing if you're evolving together, but you don't really change for your friends. You just find friends who align with you. Boom. Because when you evolve together, I mean, you're living with like when I think about it in my context, just a significant other is going to hopefully become a husband, and a husband and I are going to live together, and we're going to be making parenting decisions and raise kids together, right? Kid number 1, number 2, number 3, kid ABC. Yeah. So stuff like that. And so when we request like, can you work on this, or this like hurts my feeling, right? Like you have to work together and evolve so that it fits. Fits. Who was the woman that you said? I showed you TikTok and what was her name?
Oh, Esther Perel,
right? She said, well, there's so many people that can love us, but like how many of the love can you make a life with?
Yeah.
Do you want a love story or do you want a life story?
Yeah.
Boom. But friends, kind of different because you're not out here buying a house to live in with your friend for forever. I mean, you could,
yeah.
Right? But for me,
that's what we're going to do.
That is what we're going to do.
Okay.
But that's going to be like second,
Oh,
it's like you're going to have your...
Oh, I'm second,
No,
guys.
but you're going to have your own home. And then we're all going to have a big like beach home together.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's going to literally house 40 people. Because imagine all of us.
And our significant others.
And then kids ABC.
Oh, yeah.
If all of us just even have 2, that's like craziness over there.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so like friends, I'm not saying like friends mean a lot to me. Like I value friends because, when you're having hardships with your significant other, or even there's just some things that you feel more comfortable sharing with friends. That's just it. Like I think people should have friends, but it's a little different because sometimes like you mentioned a couple times, sometimes you outgrow friends, and
yeah,
when you're kids, sometimes you're just friends out of convenience.
Yep.
Friends because of the proximity aspect. But then as you grow older, you realize like what really matters to you. Some friends exhibit the characteristic traits that you would never allow yourself to have. But then you ask yourself like, oh, why am I friends with them then?
Right.
And it's a good question to ask. Why am I friends with them?
Right.
They make me feel shitty about myself. They don't bring me any joy.
Right.
And I always say, I hate to sound transactional. I don't think it's transactional though.
No, I think it's looking out for yourself, right?
Yes.
It's a part of keeping your cup full and keeping your boundaries.
Yeah. And even if we are making new friends, like why? Like what drew us to making friendships with these newer people? Because they align with me.
Right.
Or at least where I'm at right now, like whether it is like the music or the interests, or maybe it's like going to church together. Maybe it's like the stage of life that we're at, experiencing like similar life experiences. So yeah.
Yeah, no. And I think on my end too, like I do think Julie and I are a bit different in the way that we kind of like go about our circles and all of that. And so for me, I guess it's just like, I tried this one thing. It's not really working the way that I thought it was going to work. And so I'm opening the circle back up. But I think in general, right? Like friendships are about, like you said, kind of growing with the other person. And so, yeah, I guess like for me, it's just like practicing kind of like patience and like going through these transition phases with my friends together.
Yeah.
Because often, right, I have friends, I'm like, hey, I don't really like you right now. But then it's a right now thing, you know, like I'm being patient and being like, okay, maybe you'll come back to reality.
Yeah.
And like become a person that I like again. But if not, so be it. But if so, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
So
if you need to work on patience, that's like more than, I need to do more than a working on patience. I don't even know what the word is for that.
No.
Oh goodness. I need to go to like patience boot camp or something.
Okay. Okay, patience boot camp.
Okay, yeah. Lessons taught by Hannah starting next week.
Yep.
Patience boot
Sounds
camp.
good. Okay.
All right. See you at Patience Boot Camp.
See you next week.
Yeah, see you next
Happy
week.
69th episode.
Yeah, what a great 69th episode.
Yeah, very fitting, right?
Yeah. Very, very
close.
It's about it's about the closeness, the close circle.
You get it?
Connectivity.
Connectivity, intimacy.
Exactly.
Vulnerability.
Exactly.
I'll catch you next week. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at bulgogipod, on Twitter at bulgogipod, and on YouTube at bulgogipod.
You really said that with a lot of breath.
Yeah. Make sure to send this to your friends. Share it with your friends.
This could just be a whisper, but Hannah's is so with a lot of breath.
There's a lot of passion.
Did you already say your handle?
Oh no. My handle on Instagram and literally everything else is HANA.
TTT. And me at BEJULIFIED. Goodbye.
Bye.
1, 2, 3.
I hear your phlegm.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.